And we're live. This is going to be our area of a triangle and law of sines homework help video. We'll go ahead and get started with problem number 1. Find the area of each triangle to the nearest tenth. So the formula we want to be using is that area is equal to 1/2 AB sine C. Now this comes from these variables A, B, and capital C come from our generic way of labeling a non-right triangle, and that's to label our angles with capital letters, generally A, B, and C, and then our side lengths with lowercase letters that correspond to the side length that they're opposite from. But we don't have to always label it exactly this way to be able to use this formula. When I use this formula, all I think is that these are two side lengths. This is the angle in between those two side lengths. So area here is equal to 1/2 times 5 times 14 times the sine of 111 degrees. Make sure your calculator is in degree mode, or you're going to get a wrong answer. If the angle is given in degrees, make sure you're in degrees. So let's see, 0.5 times 5 times 14 times the sine of 111. I double check that I'm in degree mode. Hit enter, and I'll get an area of 32.67. It says nearest tenth, so we'll go 32.7. The correct unit here would be yards squared because it's a unit of area. Square yards would be appropriate. Let's see. I don't think we need to do another one of those. Let's move on to number 5. Now we're using the law of sines to find the measurement indicated. So the measurement of angle B in number 5 here, we're trying to find this one here. This is our unknown. Well, what we're looking for that will enable us to use the law of sines is if we have an angle and the opposite side length. And you can see we have it right here. This 116 is opposite of the 42, so we can use it. We also happen to have angle B's opposite side length of 19. So we're trying to find an angle, so we should put angles on top. Here I'll write it in generic form first. Sine of angle C divided by C is equal to sine of B divided by B. And this works for A and A as well. You just pick the two that you want. Now let's fill in what we have. Sine of 116 divided by 42 equals the sine of capital B, unknown, divided by 19. We multiply 19 to both sides, and this is just going to give us our answer. Let me just show this with our on-screen calculator. So what I want to do is I want to just plug in that whole left side first. Sine of 116 divided by 42. Before I press enter, I double check that I'm in degree mode. I'm glad I double checked because I'm not. So now I go into degree mode. Now I press enter. And now this number here, I just keep it in my calculator. I say times 19, and I get 0.406. I'm going to keep that in my calculator. Let me actually write it out though. 0.406 equals sine of B. How do I get rid of a sine? Well, I do inverse sine. Inverse sine, back to the calculator. So I do second sine to get inverse sine, and then second negative symbol to get answer. Brings down the previous answer, and now it's going to give us our angle measure, and that's in degrees. So that's going to round up to 24 degrees. So yeah, measure of angle B equals 24 degrees. All right, let's see. B is that one, A versus the opposite. Okay, so in all of these, it does give you the opposite side length to the one that you want to know. Here we're trying to find side lengths using the law of sines. Again, we're going to look for a spot where we have an angle in the opposite length and that's going to set us up for law of sines. Here in number 9, we actually don't have that, but we can get it pretty easily. To get this here, the measure of angle A, which we want A because it's across from this 30, and then we can set up our law of sines. To get that one, we'll do 180. 3 angles inside of a triangle must add up to 180, so then we'll just take away the other 2 angles, 37 and 112, leaving us with 180 minus 37 minus 112, 31. So that must be a 31 degree angle. Now we can do law of sines. You've got an angle on the opposite side. We're trying to find AB. This is our x. So I'm trying to find a side length, so I want to do side lengths on top. So I've got angle A and the opposite, so I'll do A over sine of A should equal to C, which is going to be our x, over sine of C. I don't know why I ever called it x, I'll just call it C. Fill in what we have. I've got length A as being 30. Sine of angle A is 31 equals side length AB, which we're calling C right now, divided by the sine of its opposite angle is 37. Multiply both sides by the sine of 37. And I'll tell you how to plug this into your calculator. You're going to do 30 divided by sine of 31, then press enter, and then press times sine 37. And we get 35, it's a unit of distance, so 35 yards. All right, last question type I want to go over. I did a different one for each class. I don't think I've done 14 yet, so we'll do 14. Find the area of the triangle to the nearest tenth. Use the triangle postulate and the law of sines to help. So in order to use my formula for area, I need 2 side lengths and the included angle. So I've got 1 side length and these angles here. If I find this side length here, I'll label it lowercase b. Then I'll have 2 side lengths and the included angle, that's 17 degrees. To find that, though, I can use law of sines, but I need its opposite angle. So to get that opposite angle, I use the triangle postulate. 180 minus 78 minus 17. That's 102 minus 17. 85 degrees there. Now I can set up law of sines using side length C and angle C. I'm trying to find a side length, so I'll do side lengths on top. So 4 over sine of 78 equals B over the sine of 85. Multiply sine of 85 to both sides. 4. Multiply by the sine of 85, and we'll get side length B is equal to 4 divided by sine of 78, enter, times sine 85. B is about 4.07 kilometers. All right, so now I've got 2 side lengths and the included angle. I'm going to plug that into my formula. Area equals 1/2 times 4 times 4.07 times the sine of 17 degrees. You can plug that whole thing into your calculator. For 1/2, I just use 0.5 so I don't confuse the order of operations. Times 4 times 4.07 times the sine of 17. I get 24 to the nearest tenth. Yeah. All right, no, 24, 2.4 square kilometers. And that's the answer number 14, and that will conclude this video. Best of luck finishing this up.